Yesterday, I decided to rewatch Kiki's Delivery Service, a Studio Ghibli classic. I used to watch this movie all the time when I was 14 to 15 years old, except I started to watch it too much and needed a break for it to feel special again. And it was special again, not only for what it has to say about being a creative, its beautiful soundtrack, fun characters and attitude, but I forgot about how absolutely gorgeous the animation is. Kiki's Delivery Service is everything we want to live in today. Kiki gets to live in a city that seems big but isn't actually like that big. The town is full of different people, young and old. There aren't any branded stores, just brick and mortar shops. At least that's what it looks like. I mean, you don't really see the brand names. There's barely any technology, just old school telephones, small TVs, and radios. Every house is uniquely designed and full of color. Nature's found everywhere. So many houses have beautiful overgrown gardens with flowers. The cobblestone streets are perfect for people, but you can still bike around if you want down winding streets and roads. People are fascinated by airplanes as the next technological advancement and not AI. You get what I'm saying here? Kiki is living it up in a place we can only dream of through animation. But not just any kind of animation. It's all cel animated. Yeah! That's what gives it its magic touch. The film is practically iconic for its painted backgrounds alone. They're so soft, full of endless detail, and the prettiest colors you've ever seen. I mean, just look at these greens and blues. Now I'm just talking about the pretty backgrounds, but painted background art and environments are crucial to cel animation. Think of any anime from the 90s. You got Sailor Moon, gorgeous backgrounds, so gorgeous. Cardcaptor Sakura, I already made a whole video about that, and it's got gorgeous backgrounds. Anything from Gainax in the 90s, gorgeous backgrounds. Sometimes these backgrounds really upstage everything else, but I feel like this approach to designing backgrounds doesn't really exist anymore. Maybe it's because in a lot of older movies, characters are given a lot of space in these environments. We get to see that massive scale. But when it comes to certain TV shows and movies, it feels like characters take up more space on screen all the time. The backgrounds don't get to breathe as much, or they're not being spotlighted. Yes, there's different kinds of shots that are obviously going to affect this, and yes, that doesn't go for every single animated piece of media ever, but like, Kiki's Delivery Service wants you to know how beautiful it is across everything. Not just animation, but story. And maybe other films don't want to go all in on everything, or maybe they can't, because A, they probably don't have the money, and B, they definitely don't have the time. It could also just be that Studio Ghibli's background game is super strong, which is true to this day, because the backgrounds in The Boy and the Heron are stunning. But I don't know, why can't other people do painted backgrounds? Anyways, moving away from backgrounds, the fluidity of cel animation is something to behold. It can feel incredibly smooth, but to be fair, this all depends on the animators and how they're animating something. Don't get me wrong, fluidity and smoothness doesn't belong to cel animation exclusively. Anything can be incredibly smooth no matter the means of animating, but I just feel like cel animation is still smooth as fuck 24/7. Kiki has so many specific mannerisms that are masterfully animated. I especially love the scene where Ursula offers her bubblegum and Kiki almost drops them but quickly catches them all. Such a nice detail, I love it. Gigi's movements are super cool too. I love how he moves in general, and whenever he gets static, you know, his fur gets all pointy and goes like up and down, it's just so cool. The animation is killer, but we already know that from Ghibli. But so many cel animated films are in a large part iconic because of their cel animation. Akira is insane. The backgrounds, the smoothness, the artistry, and crazy composed scenes like Tetsuo's guts falling out. Spoilers! And anytime Kaneda hops on that epic bike of his are just nuts, guys. Ooh, they're nuts. I don't know what would have happened if Akira came out like today, 3D animated or digitally hand-drawn, rigged, all the modern day stuff. Like, I don't know if it would be considered iconic. Yeah, it's kind of a stupid question, but come on, Akira is such a landmark in animation, not just because it attracted major attention from Western audiences and Western cinema, but because it showed off even more of what animation could be, all within cel animation. So beautiful. Owning a cel from this movie would break my brain. Like, I can't. It's just so gorgeous. At this point in my script, I'm like trying to still argue for cel animation's importance and why it's so great and amazing and is my favorite kind of animation, but now I'm just gushing, and that's okay. I know why Cel Animation is quote unquote dead in today's world. Like, yeah, ain't nobody got time and money for that. But Jesus Christ, it's fucking special. It's made a lot of some of the best movies ever made in history, so it deserves respect, and I think more projects should try and at least capture the essence of Cel Animation, because that would be very cool. Anyways, let's gush about some Cel animated movies now. Some of my favorite movies aren't great for a lot of different reasons. They're not all going to be high-class masterpieces of cinema. Ah, only the finest films for me, please. No! Come on, I'm a person. I have some feelings for Over the Hedge. I'm only human. But it's true that for some of my faves, I really only watch them because of their art style and animation. Two prime examples of this are Sleeping Beauty and 101 Dalmatians. I kind of have a weird relationship with old school Disney, you know, the old animated films. Like, on one hand, I really appreciate and admire all the artistry and cool animation that goes into those films, but like, do I want to sit through a bunch of bullshit? No, I don't. That's my biggest problem with these films, is like, I don't give a shit about the plots, including Sleeping Beauty and 101 Dalmatians. Like, they're pretty whatever, but the art of the movies? They're so good. We found the food! Sleeping Beauty is so beautiful. I've never seen any other movie that looks like this, let alone another Disney film. It has this incredible geometric aesthetic, and its painted backgrounds that I can't get enough of. You can see it especially in the rocks, the trees, leaves, all the nature. Such a gorgeous design choice. Like, seriously, I've never seen anything else that looks like this movie. It's one of the main reasons why my dad, when we'd watch these old films, he really liked Sleeping Beauty, because he thought it just looked so unique and gorgeous. The colors are stunning. Maleficent turning into a dragon is one of my favorite scenes from the film, not just for its animation, but the colors they chose are so cool. The purple with that specific shade of yellow-green against the orange flames has such an impact. Whoever did colors on this movie is a fucking genius. It's beautiful, but genuinely haunting and scary. You don't get that in Disney films anymore, and we haven't for a long time. So yet again, this movie is a perfect example of backgrounds being the star of the show, because I can't get enough of these. They're so pretty. But the characters themselves have staple designs. Aurora especially. Like, she's called Sleeping Beauty for a reason. Everyone wants to be Aurora, let's be real. I love her dance scene, just the way she moves, has a perfect rhythm and bounce. It's cinema! Just, this movie is so gorgeous. It's got this really great fairy tale look to it, and I think that's really important here, and it stands out so much against other Disney films because Sleeping Beauty is a fairy tale. We know that it's a fairy tale. It really commits to that idea and storybook visual style, and I really appreciate that. On the other hand, we have 101 Dalmatians, which is yet another film I have yet to see any other movie look like, including more Disney films. 101 Dalmatians is very distinct in its style, which I love, just like for Sleeping Beauty. I love the more sketchy approach. Like, we see black line work for added details. It's got more of a storybook feel, very like illustrated kind of look. I don't know, I'm trying to describe how it looks, and that's what my brain is thinking of. I can't tell if the backgrounds were done in gouache or even watercolor, because they have a lot of texture, and the line work pulls everything together. It makes it all crisp. I also love the variety of environments we get to see throughout the film, allowing for all kinds of stylistic choices for the city, parks, apartments, the streets, the winter countryside, room interiors, like the list goes on. There's so much attention to detail, great color palettes, and beautiful scenery. Every character is full of life in their design. Roger's got that nose, Cruella is Cruella de Vil, I don't need to say anything. All the dogs are super cute. Pongo and Perdita have great designs, and I've always loved how they were designed. I used to try to draw them as a kid. One of the most remembered scenes, I think, from the movie is when Pongo is looking outside his window at potential bachelorettes, and each dog matches their owner in personality and design. It's so fun, and I love this gorgeous movie. Examining all of this art in detail made me realize that I love movies where there's always something you'll miss from how much work and decision making goes into the art and animation of a film. Maybe paintings in general just have more weight to them. They feel special. You go to art museums to look at paintings across human history. There's just something about those painted trees that scratches our brains, or at least mine, because I love painted trees. The fact that Cel Animation is made up of a ton of physical art pieces that all can stand on their own as incredible works of art, including the cells of course, is what gets me. Like, don't get me wrong, animated movies today follow the same formula. Like, there's so many movies now where every frame is a masterpiece. Doesn't matter what medium it's made in. But at least with cells and the backgrounds, you could see that shit in person, in a museum, in real life. It's sad that some of these frames only exist digitally. Like, yeah, you could print it out and put it on your wall, that's cool, but I don't know. Yes, you can paint digitally, and yes, you can do all kinds of art digitally. That's super cool, and I love it. None of it is wrong or bad at all. I don't want people to think I'm saying that, but I'm just saying that there's a magic to art in person. It doesn't just live on our computers. I love the Rankin Bass stop motion figures, Wallace and Gromit claymation figures, Fantastic Mr. Fox models, but I also love every single background I talked about in this video so far, that at one point in time someone had to paint themselves, and then some guy took a bunch of pictures of painted cells over that background. I love cells. The internet loves cells. How could you not? Digital and physical art both have their place. They both have pros and cons, so to speak, and they're both unique and beautiful. However, it's sad that because of money, we don't really get animated films made physically anymore, with traditional media, with cells, with painted backgrounds, etc. We live in a different time, but we can still do what we used to. In this case, it's just that we can't seem to do it on the same scale of production anymore. At least when it comes to big-time studios. If you, as an artist, want to make something only using traditional media and physical means, then yeah, you can do that, but it's going to take forever to finish, but that doesn't matter if it's a labor of love. Even if the impressiveness and beauty of Cel Animation isn't found anywhere right now, animation is still experimenting today. If you only look at Western animation studios like Walt Disney and Pixar, then it might not feel like it, because Pixar most of the time just wants to be photorealistic, which got really lame really fast. And I'm not hating the animators, it's not their fault, I'm just dissing the art direction. If you go on GKids' website alone, you'll see so many cool and unique movies from across the world with amazing animation and extremely different art styles and techniques used for making their films. I'm currently going through a major slam dunk phase right now, but saying phase implies that it's gonna end. Anyways, I finally got around to watching the first slam dunk, and holy shit, oh my god. Everything animation-wise about this film is insane. I could talk about it for hours. The last scene especially is extremely impressive, if you know what I'm talking about. The animation, oh, it's just so good. I think everyone should watch that movie, but also you have to like have read the whole slam dunk manga to get it. Anyways, if you open your eyes to art around the world, then of course you'll find incredible pieces of media you've never seen the likes of before. One of my favorite directors ever in animation is Masaki Yuasa. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. And his animation studio, Science Saru, which he doesn't work at anymore, but it's become very popular, even more so today, from Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, Dun Dun Dun, and more. The Night is Short Walk On Girl is one of my all-time favorite films for how creative it is. Just, oh, I love this man's work. So good. I could have talked about way more Cel animated movies in this video though. Like, I mentioned some things here and there, but I love Lupin the Third, The Castle of Cagliostro. It's such a gorgeous Cel animated movie from the Ghibli man himself. It's so gorgeous. The backgrounds in that movie are insane, and that's another film that I watched all the time when I was 14 to 15 years old. 2019 Netflix had so many good movies, and it doesn't have freaking Castle of Cagliostro on it anymore. At least where I live. I don't know. I'm not using a fucking VPN for that shit. But yeah, there's so many more movies I could have talked about, but these are some of my favorites, and I really wanted to highlight them here. There are still studios and artists doing incredible things and pushing boundaries more than ever right now, but I'll always be thinking about that golden age of Cel animation, where that's how everything had to be made. Like, it really was the only way, but in doing so, it created so many iconic, beautiful, gorgeous films that people are never gonna forget about. And I absolutely love that.